It's the Friday edition of Vision Sports 360, and I'm a host, Austin Arone. Quite a lot to talk about on the show today as we actually look into some of the events or some of the happenings in the world of sports. Uh, Looking at the headlines, we have a new club, changing the direction of Nigerian local football. We have a new club that was formed in Lagos. It's called Inter Miami, and they are poised to actually, so to say, bring the desired change within the local football. And for now, they'll be playing their trade at the National League, and they have big ambitions. I must tell you. And looking at other news where Azizat Oshola, the Super Falcons star, has moved from FC Barcelona to Bay FC in the United States of America for an undisclosed fee. We also look at yesterday's games in the English Premier League. We had Manchester United, leaving it late against Wolverhampton Wanderers. They had to score a 97-minute goal by Kobe Mino, one of the superstars, emerging superstar. I must tell you, we had a good game, a fantastic game yesterday. There was also a game in the English Premier League between Bournemouth and West Ham United. That was supposed to be Calvin Phillips' debut, so to say, but then he actually was the one who passed the ball to Dominic Solanke that scored for FC Bournemouth. But then he was saved by WordPress, courtesy of that penalty that ended West Ham a draw in that particular game. Also, we have the Real Madrid yesterday moving to the top of La Liga after beating Getafe by 2-0. We have NBA news as well. LA Lakers return to winning ways, and also the Philadelphia 76ers actually bringing to a halt their run of winless games, so to say. I think they've gone 4 games without a win, without their key man, Joel Embiid. That run has been brought to halt yesterday against the Utah Jazz. We also have a transfer window to talk about. I think this is actually the most quiet transfer window ever in the history of English football. When you look at the amount of money that was spent, I think it's quite below what was expected. What is actually the cause of this? I think you have to pinpoint the fact that the FA actually bringing the hammer down on clubs who spend above what they earn, and it was such a quiet transfer window. And also another transfer happening in Formula One where Lewis Hamilton moved from Mercedes to Ferrari. We'll talk about that later on the show. But before we continue, we need to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go into the details of these top stories. Welcome back to the show, and this is Sports Vision 360 right here on WTV. And let's start with the home front, what's happening within the Nigerian football scene, the local scene. We have a new club that was launched yesterday. It's called, not they officially launched yesterday because the club was formed in 2023. They're already playing in the Nigerian National League, but then the official launching of the club was done yesterday. And why I want to talk about this is I just want to point out something. It's a kind of revolution that is actually ongoing within the Nigerian local football scene. The formation of clubs like Remo Stars, clubs like Sporting Lagos. We have Doma FC. We once had, I think, Ifan Yoba, getting relegated. And the reason we bring this up here is the fact that, you know, we've often talked about the fact that in other climes, like where we have the most developed league in the like the EPL, the Spanish La Liga, the clubs there are owned privately and you see that the clubs are well run. But what we have in Nigeria is like a league dominated by so to say club sites that are being run by the state government, majority of them. And you see a situation where the clubs are being treated like, you know, they are part of, they are an extension of the state civil service, where the players are being owed, you know, their salaries and their allowance, all these stuff happening within the league. But with this, with the rise of these new club sites, you know, like Sporting Lagos, like Remo FC, you know, all these club sites, you can actually say that, you know, we are seeing something different within our local scene. We are seeing more and more privately run, so to say, football clubs getting promoted to the Nigerian Premier League. And example is a good example of that. Just like I said earlier, we have Remo Stars who are doing so well within the league. Okay, we have to take a break right now. And when we come back, we'll continue with the Inter Lagos story. All right, welcome back. Let's actually continue with our story in football. Still talking football, women's football to be precise, where Azizat Oshola has moved from FC Barcelona to BFC in the United States of America. The reigning African Footballer of the Year, who has won it 6 times. I think. She has won that award, African Footballer of the Year, 6 times, has signed a deal until 2026, and she has an option to extend the contract, I think, to add another 1 year contract to that if everything goes according to plan. Azizat actually is a proven goal scorer. I think when you have to look at women's football, a striker that has scored 117 goals for Barcelona and Arsenal, Liverpool in total, as far as you know, the number of matches she has played, 169, and she scored 117. I think she has a good return, and you know, moving to a team like BFC, I believe she will add quality to that team. I believe that they're going to see something different. You know, in the past, the WSL, which is the American Women's League, used to be like the top of it all. You know, the echelon of the women's football. But right now, it seems like, you know, everything is shifting towards Europe. You see Barcelona, where Azizat just left, you know, dominating European football. Apart from that, you know, US national team. I'm talking about the women's national team. They are like always the team to beat at every tournament, but it's actually not the same. It's not like it used to be at the moment. So they're looking for a way to rebrand their league, and part of that move is to bring Azizat Oshola to this BFC, and they know the kind of quality she brings to the team. And just like I said, Azizat has played for teams like Liverpool. She's played for Arsenal and a Chinese team where she left before she joined Barcelona. It's I think Dalian Kwajan, which she played where she played in 2019. And moving on, let's talk more football right now, where Kobe Mino has scored a 97th minute winner for Manchester United as they beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 4 goals to 3. I think it was actually quite a frantic game. You know, the way it was played, fast paced. You know, both teams going at it. You know, just looking to win. You look at the situation around the EPL table, everything at this particular point in time is trying to push up. And you look at Manchester United, for what they spent, they are looking to be at least, secure a place in Europe, probably maybe the Europa League or the Europa Conference League, and they are pushing for it. And these results actually helped their cause in that regard. Making sure that they win this game. They've moved to number 7 on the log, and Wolverhampton Wanderers actually was quite close to Manchester United. If they had won this game, it would have been a different story. Probably would have seen Wolves moving to 9th above Chelsea. They'll be moving to 9th. They would have moved to 9th above Chelsea, but that didn't happen. Manchester United won yesterday, and it was actually quite a performance from the youngster Kobbie Mainoo. You have to remember that name. Kobbie Mainoo, for me, is a superstar in the making, and he's shown all the signs this season. He's played a couple of games, and for me, he's impressed, and I believe that if he continues like this, Manchester United actually will have a star on their hand. Rashford as well, Marcus Rashford was on the score sheet for Manchester United. And then for Wolverhampton Wanderers, Pablo Sarabia, who recently moved from PSG to Wolves, actually was on the score sheet for Wolves yesterday. So it was actually quite a chaotic game, if you ask me. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Manchester United. And there was another game where we had the Kevin Phillips, who moved to West Ham United from Manchester City. The problem he had with Manchester City not having game time, Pep Guardiola not trusting him enough to actually give him that game time at Manchester City. So he was pushed to West Ham to see if he can actually salvage his career. And yesterday was supposed to be his debut, and the debut didn't really go according to plan. The way he started, with Kevin Phillips giving the ball away, very close to the penalty area, gave the ball to Dominic Solanke, who made no mistake, and slotted the ball into the net, and then it was helped, by that late penalty that was scored by Ward-Prowse. I think it was, quite an interesting one for Kevin Phillips. We hope that he can actually bounce back from that. We hope that that is not going to affect his psychology, because we know the player he was before he went to Manchester City, but then he's not himself at the moment. Now let's switch gears. Now let's talk about Real Madrid. Real Madrid actually won yesterday, courtesy of 2 goals from Joselu, the striker, the Spanish striker, and that 2 goals, they are now top of the table, 2 points ahead of former table toppers. Should I call it former table toppers? Girona. Girona, for me, this season they've been a revelation. The way they've played this season in the Spanish La Liga, they took everybody by surprise. When they started, everybody thought that it's one of those things where you have a new team, coming into a league, and they play maybe towards the half of the season, the team collapse, and then you see them falling like a pack of cards. But that's not the case for Girona at the moment. They keep proving doubters wrong. They taking their game, taking it one game at a time, and they are second. They are not out of the title race, the way it is. But Real Madrid have actually taken over that position. They are now, number 1 as far as the Spanish La Liga is concerned, and so far so good. Jude Bellingham, for me, the player of the season is, as far as the Spanish league is concerned. You also have to look at the signing as well. The best signing of the year for me will also go to Jude Bellingham. The way he's playing at the moment for Real Madrid, he's not scoring, he's contributing in terms of the work he puts in, tracking back to make sure that he helps in the midfield, he helps in defense. So this is what Madrid have done with Jude Bellingham this season, and what a fantastic signing Jude Bellingham has been for Real Madrid. We'll take a short break, And when we come back, we have some other sports stories to talk about. There's the NBA, there's the transfer window. There's also the Formula One, to talk about. So we'll go on that short break now. When we come back, we'll, talk about some other sports. All right, welcome back. Still talking football, but this time around, it's actually about the transfer window. This January transfer window is over, and something quite off about this 2024 January transfer window. The fact that less money was spent. Generally. The January transfer window is that transfer window where a lot of clubs look to adjust their playing pattern. Sometimes they look to make addition that could strengthen their team. But this year, you could see that not so much was spent in terms of the money, in terms of even the movement of the players. Not a lot of movement for the players, as you can see there. The net spend for the clubs right there on the screen. You look at what was spent. I think they've spent less than $715 million in 2023 winter window. This outlay of 20 type, so they're talking about the 20 top flight clubs. For this January is less than 100 million. When you look at 2023, 715 million, and then you look at 2024 January transfer window is 100 million. I think there's a significant difference, with regards to January spending in 2023. You can actually see the graph there. The 2023 was so higher than any other the year from 2017 to 2024. You could see that on the graph there, 2023 was so high, and then 2024 is down below. That tells you something is happening in the world of football, especially in the English Premier League, where the FA has actually decided to hit hard on clubs that spend above their earnings. You could see what happened with Everton recently. The case is still on, but then 10 points was deducted from all the points that they accrued earlier in 2023, and they're also in for another round of case. They could actually get dropped by this whole financial fair play issue. There's also the issue with Nottingham Forest that is ongoing. There's an investigation. There's an ongoing case, and if they are found guilty, they're also going to be docked. The points is going to be deducted from what they've accrued this year, and it's not actually good for these clubs. There's also a case where Manchester City are facing 115 charges as regards to all their activities, all the money they spent between 2017 and up till this very moment. So the clubs, for me, are actually being so careful, not to fall into that trap, or not to actually get into this whole issue of the financial fair play thing. Moving on, let's talk basketball. In the NBA, Tyrese Maxey actually helped Philadelphia 76ers end their losing run against Utah Jazz. Tyrese scored a career-high 51 points as they beat the Utah Jazz 127 to 124 points. Announced as also Maxey. He also got into the NBA All-Star. We're going to talk about the NBA All-Star later. So he's among the guys that will be playing this year's NBA All-Star. And just to let you know that Joel Embiid, who also has been out injured he's missed a couple of important games for them, and Maxi is one of those players that have risen to the occasion on numerous times this season. And you look at how he played in this particular game, it shows that he's getting that confidence. He's actually staking that claim as being one of the most important player on the roster of the Philadelphia 76ers. Other games we have, Boston Celtic losing to the LA Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers, as Austin Reeves scored a season high 32 points. We also have the Cleveland Cavaliers with Donovan Mitchell scoring 25 points, beating Memphis Grizzlies 108 to 101 points. And then we have the game between New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers ending 109 to 105 points in favor of the Indiana Pacers. And Jalen Brunson, named as the Eastern Conference All-Star earlier in the day, scored 11 of his 40 points in the final 7 minutes. It's such a fantastic one. New players coming into the All-Star. As you all know, the All-Star, watching the All-Star is always actually very interesting, which also actually takes us to the next story. And this time we actually have to take a look at the players that will be in this year's 2024 10th NBA All-Star Games. We're going to have LA Lakers star Anthony Davis in there, and Hugh, and alongside Steph Curry. They're going to be on the reserve for this particular one. The coach chose the 7 reserves from each conference, with Minnesota Timberwolves Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns also both selected in the Western Conference. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George of the Los Angeles Clippers and Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns were also named to the West squad, which will be captained by 20 times All-Star LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers. When you look at the Eastern Conference reserve, which includes a 5-time All-Star appearance, I think we have 3 first-timer as far as the Eastern Conference is concerned. We have Tyrese Maxey, just like we stated earlier, and then we have the likes of Paolo Banchero of Orlando Magic, and then we have New York Knicks Julian Brunson. These 3 guys will be making their maiden appearance at the NBA All-Star. Interesting thing happening right there. The NBA is hotting up, is getting to that business end, and teams are actually getting more serious. And then the distraction of the NBA stars come in, and then they have to resume back again, and start playing the normal season. So it's actually quite a hectic period as far as the NBA is concerned. It's on this note we wrap it up on today's edition of Vision Sports 360. I want to thank the production crew for doing a wonderful job behind the scene. I remain Austin Arome, and on behalf of all of us here, we say thank you for watching and bye for now.